Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Valkyrie, and he's in the Des Moines, at tier 10 US cruiser. He's on the map Faroe Islands, 3-point domination game, it's a tier 10 battle, and there is a submarine. Now, he got spotted on his way towards the camp, so he's now popping a radar, and he's found a lovely Kagero. Now, the Kagero is not in a position to run away yet, and while it makes this turn, it's gonna be pummeled pretty heavily. Of course, Valkyrie is a bit at risk here. There is a Yamato that can shoot him. Most of enemy ships should be blocked by the massive island, but the Yamato could potentially be a problem. Of course, the Kagero has a much bigger problem. It's not gonna get away, yeah? So, poor Kagero. There you go. Now, with Valkyrie inside the camp, that leaves SJR in descent to spot the flanks. Now, of course, there are enemy raiders as well, so he has to be careful that he doesn't run into the same issues that the Kagero did. Now, Valkyrie is raided here, but he seems to have found some pretty decent cover. I don't think the Iowa can... Well, there are some shells coming in from the side. Not sure whose shells those were, but so far everything is fine. Now Valkyrie can just take this camp. We do have quite a few friendly ships here. The Iowa seems to be leaving, and the Donskoi, but the Sao and the Yamato are at least still coming this way. And I mean, the Iowa and the Donskoi are still in positions to help. Let's just hope they don't run too far. Now we do have an Alaska coming in here. Valkyrie is reversing a bit. Now, of course, if he were spotted here, right, the Alaska could lob shells into his broadside, so he's a bit careful. I think he could have reversed just a bit more. Shot the Alaska some. But also be trying to shoot the Yamato maybe here. Like, with islands that aren't as high like this, it's often hard to realize which part of the island prevents vision and which doesn't. So Valkyrie is just a bit careful here because, you know, it would be a rather shame if he was spotted here and Citadel. Also, there is enemy radar around with the Cleveland and the Alaska. So even if he's in a position where they can't spot him, they could just press a button and visible. Now, on the other hand, if he doesn't want to risk the back here, he can just poke around at the front. Now, poking around at the front is usually what you want to do in a Des Moines, because most of your firepower is in the front, and you can peek around an island while staying undetected with just your front guns at times, which is exactly what he's going for here, to shoot the Iowa. Now, he's maneuvering very carefully here to make sure that he isn't getting detected, but he can shoot. Not all of his shells make it around the island, so he could... He's trying to go slightly more forward again. Now all we need is some nice, lovely fires. There we go. That's what we want to see. Burning Iowa. Meanwhile, the enemy controls B, but the friendlies are pushing heavily into A, so that looks good. Meanwhile, it looks like the Alaska might be coming around on this side. That's, I mean... Oh, another fire. I mean, it would be a curious choice for an Alaska to just YOLO in, so maybe it just wants to hold position over there. There is a radar again. I mean, currently Valkyrie is in the range of 2 raiders and 1 Hydro. I mean, the Hydro isn't running, but, you know, the enemies basically can keep Valkyrie detected here for a long time if they want to. So he's reversing once again, with the Iowa leaving here for... Oh, well, that's just rude. There is a sump. Now, that ping came from rather far. Like, you can see, the ping is coming from very far away. Valkyrie is undetected, and he's using his... damage con. Now he is hydroed again. I mean, as I said earlier, right, the enemy can keep him detected here for a long time if they want to. The damage con wasn't, I think, necessarily... it wasn't that important, because this piece of island in the front, right, the homing torpedoes would have all just gone into this island once he moved forward. So he could have saved the damage con. But I suppose it does feel a lot safer this way. I mean, honestly, technically, the submarine could have launched those torpedoes well in advance, and they could have already been past the island, and then it pinged, and then they would home into him, or something. I don't know. I guess it pays to be safe. Now, of course, that submarine is making this situation even more interesting. The Sao we had here has sunk, the Yamato is now leaving pretty fast, the Iowa is also leaving, and the Donskoy is, well, I suppose it's still peeking in here from the side. But Valkyrie is getting pushed by quite a few enemies with the tools to keep him spotted. And while he is maneuvering on this island, oh, there's another nice fire. I mean, this island only works until they come around. Also, like ships in the... like ships from the other side could shoot him, like this Monarch, the Alaska, the Des Moines over there.
Torpedoes, direct front.
And there are the submarine torpedoes, because, you know, the submarine could just be pushing in as well. Okay, so it looks like the Cleveland might be coming around from the rear. Now, the best thing is that the enemy is very hesitant, because we all know Des Moines has, like, this massive armament of torpedoes. Oh, no, wait, it doesn't. But, you know, I mean, that's 3, 4, about 5 with the submarine, 6 enemy ships here. And, you know, this is 1 Des Moines, right? Okay, so the submarine has been spotted, which means it's just diving. And, well, the Hydra is running out anyway, I guess. So there is 1 hit into the submarine. Well, it's a flooding, not like a real hit. Okay, so the Alaska is potentially coming in here. Of course, not coordinated with the battleships, right? Battleships would never do something like push a Des Moines. It'd be way too easy, right? Okay, so Valkyrie is using his radar to get some information on what all of those ships are doing. Obviously, he can't see the sub, so it's a sub. But he can see that Alaska. Armor piercing is loaded, so he peeks around. And could be some juicy citadels here. Or not. Well, somebody took care of the Alaska. At this point, unfortunately, the sub could be anywhere. Sub could be like 100 meters in front of his face and just surface and one-shot him. Nothing he could do about this. So, that's a shame. Meanwhile, there is Hydro, there's the enemy has realized they have detection tools again. Oh, there is a sub surfacing here. Of course, the sub is interestingly enough surfacing in a position where it can't talk. Like, you know, a sub can talk from the front and the rear, but not from the side. So why on earth would it why would it surface here? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, this game overall is, well, it's pretty close, I guess. Oh, hello, Cleveland. So, I'd switch to high explosive here, yes, Valkyrie agrees, because he can just, you know, shoot the nose there without a problem. And basically farm this Cleveland pretty easily. There we go. So it was low health Cleveland that dared push the Des Moines. The battleships, on the other hand, are still trembling in fear. Now, we have the Iowa that has finally decided to potentially come around. The Yamato, not really. And then there's the Monarch coming in. So there's a problem, right? The Iowa is coming from the rear. If Valkyrie goes forward, though, he's running into the Monarch and potentially the Yamato. The Monarch will detect him exactly. So, and there are some more shells coming from probably the Alaska. There's also a Chinyan somewhere. I mean, I see a smoke there in the distance, so that's probably where the Chinyan were. So at least there's one ship we don't have to worry about. Valkyrie trying to reverse a little bit here, but you really can't, because, you know, the Iowa. And I mean, at this range, it's highly unlikely that the Iowa is going to miss. So he needs to go forward, but he just really doesn't want to. Now the good news is the Yamato is currently behind an island, but it won't stay there. The dedication to be useless that many battleships possess only goes so far. At some point they will make a move that forces them to do something. And I'm sure this Yamato will eventually come around. So yeah, the Monarch, though, I think is ignoring Valkyrie so far. That's good news. Monarch, it might not be the best battleship, but it's still a battleship. So that would be awkward. It's only the Alaska that has actually engaged Valkyrie here. Yeah, we can see the turrets are not looking this way. The Monarch is still absolutely uninterested in the Des Moines. That's right, you know, next to it. Although I think those turrets are now turning. Meanwhile, the Iowa is coming around, but the Iowa is broadside to a Yamato, and maybe SJR can also get some torps into it. So, Valkyrie just has to hope that somebody is dealing with this Iowa. It's not like the friendly battleships have been useful so far, but maybe for the first time they can make an helpful move. Meanwhile, the enemy Monarch at least is helpful. It's still not looking this way. Oh, it's happily shooting somebody else. So Valkyrie should be able to get quite a few nice penetrations here with armor piercing. I'd aim a little bit more towards the center though, I suppose. But it's fine. Oh, okay, so the Yamato is finally gonna come around. Although, is it even looking this way? Well, Valkyrie is just gonna play a little bit more with this island and engage the Alaska. Unfortunately, the Alaska is the only ship here that's actually tried to shoot Valkyrie, so that could happen. Oh no, the Monarch! The Monarch has woken up, but it's shooting high explosive. What a plot twist. Meanwhile, Valkyrie should probably try for some high explosive there against the Alaska, and he agrees. So, the Yamato is once again turning around. Oh, lovely fire on the Alaska. Heal is almost ready. Heal is actually ready. Nice, another fire on the Alaska is then. Might wanna press that heal button there, my friend. Oh, the Yamato is finally engaging. After all this time. He can still heal Valkyrie. Although he is pretty much focused on the ammo piercing, he should aim a little bit high. Yeah, he's getting non-pens, so he can't go for the Stellier. There is the heal. He's hoping for those citadels, but the armor is just too much, and he goes down. That's a shame. He even got his Confederates there in the end, and the captain buff. But, wasn't enough, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's a miracle that he survived this long, and the enemy team undoubtedly helped with that. Now the Yamato didn't survive. Okay, at this point it's just the Jinyan remaining. Not sure whether the Jinyan currently... Ah, there is the Jinyan. So, and it's smoking up, which does probably nothing, cause, you know, it's the last ship remaining, so it doesn't really have spotting. Gets a few... Oh, it's got the Iowa even. So it prolonged this slightly more. I mean, there are 4 minutes remaining. And the friendlies have all the camps. The friendly Yamato here is helpfully hiding behind C, so there's no way it's getting sunk. I mean, you know, at least there is, like, even if this Yamato tried, it couldn't be useful in time. But, oh, the camera does stuff that I don't actually told it to do, because this is a replay. And, you know, sometimes the camera just decides to do weird things. Anyway, this is basically over on points. So, that brings us to the results. You know, Valkyrie, a very good game, also a very weird game. I still can't believe what the enemy team did there. World of Warships. You're so silly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.